For the past 4 years on The Five, I've been doing monologues. It's what I was hired to do, to make you think and laugh, and sometimes aroused. Juan. My goal when writing these one-minute thought puddles is to keep it fun and persuasive, with humor trumping anger. It's not about reciting stuff you've already heard, but offering a perspective in a way that makes you nod your head and go, I get it. But it's also meant to help you in your quest to argue more effectively, convincing others of a fact-based perspective, free of emotion, cliche, and most of all, shrill anger. It's not about being correct, but being persuasively correct, Kimberly. Yes, especially in an age when you're the target. The media, academia, government, they all pretty much hate you and me, which is why I wrote this book. The book stems from two ideas. How can I explain how I explain things? And how can I help you explain things too? It's that simple. My theory? The left is great at explaining bad ideas. The right is bad at explaining great ideas. So my book is designed, hopefully, to fix that, to get better at explaining good ideas, in part by learning from the left's own tricks and injecting humor into crevices of our own arguments. Whether it's through the power of metaphor, mockery, or absurdity, the goal here is not to shout, but to win, and do so in a charming and thoroughly enjoyable manner. Because there's no point in thinking you won if afterward everyone hates you. So I urge you to pick up the book. It's short and sweet, much like me.
I like the arousing part.
Of course you would, Kimberly.
Thought puddles.
Well, he said how to arouse, Juan.
Thought puddle. How about thought ponds or thought seas, oceans of thought?
Because they're small. I like the thought puddle.
They're
so you don't. So you just don't. You don't get too wet. You just get in and then you get out of it. So I'm sorry, I shouldn't have used the word puddles.
Are thought puddles controlled water, too? This is getting better by the moment.
But I want to tell you, on the back of the book, I wrote, this book was my idea, Dana Perino. Explain how this was your idea.
Well, you're right. So we're in our 5th year as a show, and one of the things you have constantly been telling the audience is that you can't just have fake outrage. You actually have to be persuasively correct in order to win an argument. But I always felt like you weren't telling people actually how to do that, because someone might watch the show, they might really love a monologue and say, oh my gosh, I wish I could think that way or write that way. And so I wanted you to write a book that would explain to people how they could actually do it. It's not an impossible task.
I just didn't want to tell people because I didn't want to lose my job.
You wanted to be selfish.
Yes, I don't want people to do
So now
what I do.
this is an act, like a charitable act. You've become magnanimous.
This is like a rhetorical soup kitchen.
Yeah, but you know, this is terrible. This is bad news for Democrats.
Yeah.
Because, boy, if Republicans buy this book and figure out how to stop being so angry and nasty, and actually start laughing at liberals and mocking them and saying, you know,
He's
you
got
guys
a point, though.
You know, that could be dangerous.
But liberals are every bit as angry. You know that, Juan.
No.
Hillary's not angry?
Well, I think Hillary's been beaten up a lot. That's true, too. But I think, in general, what comes off is Republicans are angry old men. And you got to get away from
Who creates that cliche, though?
Well, I don't know if it's a cliche. That's the problem.
Well, there you go.
Well,
you're not an old man.
The Democrats running for president are substantially older than the Republicans running for president.
That is true.
Right?
Yeah. And they're
less diverse.
all white.
Less diverse, yeah.
Yeah,
no diversity almost.
If you have a chance, Greg and I did a Q&A. It's online at foxnews.com. And if you're a parent and you want to figure out how could I instill some skills and talents like that in my child, there's a good answer in the Q&A about that. And then there's also a special little podcast that's coming.
Yes, exactly.
Everything little that we do.
It's a good book for children and also for pets. The pets don't have to read; they can just stare at it.
My son is 17. Can he learn something?
Definitely.
Yes, he could,
on the way to college?
Yes,
Good idea.
and the great thing is, the cover is part of the book, so you can't hide the fact you're reading this. So you know when you're on the train and you pretend you're not reading this,
like if you're at a university, or if you're in an office where you are the only conservative and you feel like there's no way for you to ever win an argument, so basically what you end up doing is you just shut up and you go back to your desk and you stew about it, or you go online and tweet us. This actually shows you how you can argue with your professors or your colleagues in a very persuasive way.
But it won't help you argue with your spouse.
Or with the control room.
Yes.
Saying, go.